Receiving a prize such as the Tetrahedron Prize is always a great honor. To join the rather distinguished list of previous winners, it's really very delightful to see that I'm included among them. One of the things that you're trying to do in your work is to do something that you hope will be useful and people will appreciate it. And receiving a prize like this gives me an indication that maybe I have achieved that objective. The idea that you are trying to solve a problem of society in most instances comes down to providing some type of a product, and that involves materials in which it's going to be made. So whether you're dealing with electronics, nanoscience, or all the way to biological sciences, it's in the end designing structure for function. Today, we're limited in many instances, and the major limitation is the ability to make things. So how can we design or remove the limits that we currently have on the structures we can design because we don't have ways of making them? So what we're trying to accomplish is to give an empowerment so that we remove that kind of limitation, so that ultimately the structures we design to solve the problems will in fact be the optimal structures. Work that we had done that has been recognized by this prize involves the chemistry of the transition metal palladium. It was an evolution of this ability to carry out what we thought could be a process that would rival carbonyl alkylation chemistry. To try to estimate the amount of effort that went into this would be a problem in its own kind. It has been a major activity in my laboratories, and in 2015, I will celebrate 50 years in academic life. So it's been for a pretty long time involving quite a few people. Probably, my guess is close to 200 people. At one time or another in my laboratories was working on problems related to this. And all of my students over all these years are the ones who have joined with me on this effort. And the willingness to take on just challenges, which in many instances was uncharted territory, was really wonderful, and we just had a great time. When I was starting my life as a young academic, it was more the model of you throwing a baby into the pool to see if they can swim. You didn't have any specific training as to what's going to be ahead of you in terms of going into an academic career. You sort of are just thrown into it. I was very fortunate in that I had my appointment at the University of Wisconsin, where we had a great team of faculty who were very supportive, and one of their faculty in particular, Harlan Goering, was very, very helpful to me in helping me navigate the beginnings of setting up academic life. Well, I would say the most difficult component of academic life is the idea that you also have to be constantly raising money. And it's always has been a roller coaster in terms of just being able to plan programs and have your science move as much as you would like it to. I was fortunate in the early days getting a number of gifts from various companies that were supporting young academicians. I was also fortunate in getting some support from some of the foundations that established grants for young academics, like the Camille and Henry Dreyfus Foundation. So those always helped, but those were relatively small amounts of money. So the really biggest ones were from the fact that both NSF and NIH were stepping forward reasonably early in my career and have supported me for a fairly long time. When you are trying to think about going into a career, whether it's in industry or academic, the first and foremost thing is do what you really enjoy doing. In today's world, there's too much of a tendency for one to ask the question, well, what practical problem are you going to solve today? If we only look at the problems that you're going to solve today and not put in place just some important basic knowledge that will solve the problems, that may solve the problems of today, but also have a good chance of solving the problems of tomorrow. Our program has usually focused on the question of how can we do things better. The issue here is, that needs to be appreciated, is you don't know what you don't know. And what I mean by that is that sometimes we get overly impressed with ourselves in thinking that we know all that there is that is important. But the reality is the world is much, 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 much bigger than you can ever imagine. And the opportunities are just, to me, unimaginable. And so the question is, can we find ways to help make our overall society better, and how we can approach the problems of society better by improving our ability of making complex molecules. And so we are going to continue our efforts in trying to really discover the next new range of strategies by which you can carry out complex molecule synthesis, largely focusing in the area of catalysis.